in fact, these renderings are a design tool, and we constantly take these, mark them up, sketch them up, take public input, and we do it again. But a lot of times the perception is, oh, it's done, it's been designed, there's no more room for it. And that's why we've come with sketches, just to show that we are still in flux. We don't want to leave anything out of this. It's our chance
and I don't want it to be built too small when we have more business coming into town.
Right, exactly. And this is the time to add those program functions that people say, hey, I have this specific need, can you guys cater it? And we'll be able to at this point.
Yeah,
so,
AV and sizes.
Oh, especially as far as AV and that sort of stuff. I mean, obviously we're going to be limited by some level of footprint because we're squeezed in here between the garage and the hotel, but how we arrange the functions and what happens with some of these carved out little niches, it's very open for change, modification to meet people's requirements.
Yeah.
What we did is we started with what we typically do, a typical list of program functions for our bigger conference centers, put them in there, and then now we're waiting for comments.
Yeah.
So if someone says, I don't have a need for this, I don't, but I do need floor boxes with water and air, we can put that on the table and say, do we want to do that?
Okay.
So,
good.
Yep. I think
good on that.
it's now's the time. Now's the time to do it right, because once it's implemented, it's nothing but I wish it had.
Right.
Fortunately, there is room for expansion. So if there are, if it's a matter of size and accommodating larger groups, we do have that opportunity down the road to where we're not landlocked, where we can't make any changes.
That's
and then at that time, we might be able to add in smaller programmatic functions, but basically at the root you have breakout meeting rooms, what size they need, how many people are you going to bring.
Yeah.
Is the design very similar to that in terms of size?
I'm not familiar with Junction City, but this is based on the standard Hilton prototype, so it more than likely is. The room layouts are the same as any Hilton Garden Inn, and then the exterior is obviously being modified to fit with this area. So. But it's probably number of rooms and sizes, it's probably pretty similar.
I see. Okay. Looks pretty good. And how much event space is there planned for this?
There's about 15,000 square feet in the actual main ballroom, and then there's another 1,000 to 1,500 of smaller breakout rooms.
So, is there a sustainable design plan with this project or not?
What we've done is gone through, we've got a LEED checklist that we do, and we've gone through that, and whether we make it a actual LEED certified building or not is still questionable, but we're going through the items and checking them off and seeing what's attainable and what's maybe not so attainable, and just going through it that way.
At this point, you have a budget put together, budgetary numbers put together for the entire project, or not?
The developer's working on putting those together.
Is that right? And who's the developer?
It's HCW out of Branson.
Branson, Missouri.
Well, I think the major arrival point for 3rd Street is on 3rd Street, through here for the conference center drop-off. This is also a primary drop-off for the hotel on the 4th Street side.
So which is which?
Well, one's to appease the city and address 3rd Street, the park, and the rest of the functions that are happening out here. This one is to make it work for the rest of the function of the parking lot and actual function of the hotel.
Most people driving themselves
are going to come in here.
And then
Correct.
It doesn't have a lot of interest. I think you could do something more with the roof lines, to give it some, little pizzazz. It's really blah. I'm sorry. Maybe a little more glass, a little more limestone, maybe.
Right, and that's what we're working on, is trying to figure out what that balance is for materials.
Some of the comments that we heard tonight were on the elevation of the hotel. The renderings that you see up there on to the left, we're missing some of the steel structures that will protrude out of the building that are not on the renderings yet. In breaking of the elevations, we heard a little bit in breaking the heights, which we can do with the parapet levels, bringing the height up on a few and bringing them down on a few. The materials are native stones, brick, and some stucco. Breaking up the elevation, we did studies of all brick really kind of toned it down and made it look just like it was one big blob of brick. So we're trying to break the elevations, make it good looking. Some of the comments we heard over on the conference center side seem to be all pretty positive. had a comment on the carpet color. Carpet colors are right now just very preliminary on there, so that can change. What we're trying to do in the conference center, which is what our company really focuses on a lot, is functionality for guests. Trying to bring as many people into the city of Manhattan as possible and make their convention function. Get their food on time, get their coats hung in the right place, right size of restrooms. That's what brings people back, is timeliness and a good, pleasant experience while they're in the center. Some of the things we're doing aesthetically is, for example, this is a piece of glass with grass inside of it, and it's hard to tell from the renderings, but that's what goes in those shadow boxes. We want to bring out some of the native grasses of the Flint Hills, backlit within the center. Tell a little bit of story of the Flint Hills inside of the center when you get in there. The rooms that you see, the Kanza and whatever, those are nothing. We hope the community will name those rooms that are in there. That's just a style of letter or what have you, and where the lettering can go for the rooms. On the interior of the convention center or conference center, we did not get the ceiling elevated yet. We do have it designed though, but I think you'll really like it. It's really, really cool. Inside of the ceiling, it's a high ceiling, obviously. It's a flat, hard-lidded ceiling. We'll be doing rigging points in the ceiling. Those are steel structures that come down on a grid system throughout that, so you can hang stage lighting, banners, what have you, throughout that ceiling to function. A lot of times buildings are built without rigging points in the ceilings, and all of that is in the design. We have a really neat lighting system. All of the lighting is hidden in a kind of in a cove, or if you will, in the ceiling, and it's all LED and it's all computerized. So if it's homecoming or what have you for Kansas State University, we can turn the whole room purple. The entire ceiling can cast in purples and walls and everything. We can do it for whatever convention, whatever your convention colors are. So we want to make that room an exciting inside instead of the same old boring 30-foot high, ceiling with a chandelier in the middle. So we're coming up with some ideas for that I think they're coming along quite nicely. Butler Rosenberry, the architects, are here. They have a vast amount of experience in conference and convention centers. They've done over 50 of them. So I think we've got the ideas. And unfortunately, with every project, there is a budget. And so we're working as hard as we can to keep it within the budget. And so far, so good. We just gotta be careful. And but I think at the end of the day, when the streetscape is done and the lights with music and everything going on down there, it's going to be a great project for Manhattan. We're proud to be a part of it. Thanks.